Hello everyone, my name is Matthew and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome to Lesson 12 of Hebrew Basics, a series where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. Today we are going to start learning Hebrew verbs. We'll start out in this lesson with what we call the present tense. First of all, let's see what verbs in the present tense are. Remember that verbs are words that describe the actions of someone or something. He runs, she plays, we walk, I want. Verbs have different tenses. In English, we have the present tense, I work, which is for things happening now. A past tense, I worked, for things that happened in the past. A future tense, I will work, for things that will happen in the future, and several others. Today, we are going to learn Hebrew's present tense, which describes things going on now. In English, I work and he works are examples of the present tense. But first, we'll need to introduce ourselves to the building blocks of Hebrew verbs. Roots. Roots are three Hebrew letters placed in a certain order that have a meaning of a general idea. Adding vowels and extra letters gives the root different, more specific meanings. We can make the root into verbs, or even a noun or adjective. We don't have this root system in English, but in a few cases we can get something close, like the words that are made up of the letters S, N, and G, which we can pretend are a three-letter root, like the ones Hebrew has. We can add an I in the middle to get sing, an O to get song, or a U to get sung. We can add an ing ending to sing to get singing, or an S to get sings. All these words with the letters S, N, and G have related yet distinct meanings. They all have a general meaning of singing, but one is a noun, song, and many are different forms of verbs, sing, sung, sings. Roots in Hebrew work in a very similar way. Today, we are going to see how to take the roots aleph, kaf, lamed, which has a general meaning of eating, and resh, tzadi, hey, which has a meaning of wanting, and make them into verbs in the present tense. Alright, in Hebrew, every verb has four different forms of its present tense. One masculine singular, one feminine singular, one masculine plural, and another feminine plural, just like adjectives. Also like adjectives, the masculine singular form of the present tense usually has no particular ending, while the other forms do. Let's start out with this masculine singular form, which we will need in order to translate the sentence, he eats. The first word in the Hebrew sentence will be hu, which means he, and then the Hebrew verb for eats. The root this verb will come from is aleph, kaf, lamed, since this root has a general meaning of eating. The verb must be in masculine singular form, since its subject is hu, a masculine singular pronoun. It also must be in the present tense, because the action is happening now. He eats. To make the masculine singular form of the present tense of a verb, we start with the first letter of the root, which is aleph, a silent letter. After that first letter, we add a vav with cholam, which says o. Next comes the second letter of the root, which will not have a dagesh. For the verb eats, this second letter is kaf, which without dagesh says ch. Under this second letter, we will add a tsere, a, and end with the third letter of the root, lamed, la. Ochel, eats in masculine singular form. Hu ochel, he eats. Hu ochel. Now, Hebrew's present tense can be translated into English as our present tense, such as translating ochel as eats. But in many contexts, we can also choose to translate it into a tense we have in English that we call the present progressive. Some examples of the present progressive tense are I am going, she is walking, or they are running. Translating ochel into English's present tense gives us eats, but we can also translate it into the present progressive tense to get is eating. Ochel can mean either eats or is eating. So, hu ochel can be translated into English as either he eats or he is eating. The feminine singular form of eats or is eating can be made by taking the masculine singular form ochel, shortening the tsere to a segol, and adding another segol and a letter tav at the end, et. That gives us ochelet, eats in feminine singular form. He ochelet, she eats, or she is eating. היא אוכלת. היא אוכלת. To say they eat, the word they will be either masculine הם or feminine hein, which are both plural pronouns. The verb eat must therefore be in masculine plural or feminine plural form. These forms are made by taking ochel, once again, changing the tsere into a shva, and adding an ending. The masculine ending is im, which gives us ochlim, and the feminine ending is ot, which gives us ochlot. So they eat is either hem ochlim, with the words they and eat in masculine form, hem ochlim, or hen ochlot, with both words in feminine form, hen ochlot. And again, hem ochlim and hen ochlot can also be translated as they are eating. So those are the four forms of a regular verb in the present tense. The masculine singular form has the vowels o and a, ochel. The feminine singular form has the vowels o and e, plus an et ending, ochelet. And the plural forms have the vowel o and a shva which ends the syllable, plus either the masculine im ending or the feminine ot ending, ochlim and ochlot. There are certain letters that, when they are in certain places in a root, can make the present tense of a verb have a different form. The most common of these by far is a he as the third letter of a root, as in the root resh tsari he, which has a general meaning of wanting. Let's put this root into the four forms of the present tense, starting with the masculine singular form. This will start out like regular verbs, with the first letter of the root, resh, followed by a vav with cholam. Next comes the second letter, tsari, and then things change a little. Instead of putting a tsere under the second letter, we instead use a segol, e instead of a. And then we end with the third letter, the silent he. So that gives us rotse. To say he wants, we say hu, he, rotse, wants in masculine singular form. Hu rotse, he wants, hu rotse. Quite a while ago, we learned how to make the four forms of the adjective hard, kashe, which ends with segol he, e, just like rotse. Kashe is the default masculine singular form of the adjective, onto which endings are added to make the other forms. But the adjectives that end with e in their masculine singular forms drop that e and then add the respective endings. A to get the feminine singular kasha, im to get the masculine plural kashim, and ot to get the feminine plural kashot. Verbs that in the present tense and masculine singular form end with e work exactly the same way. We take the masculine singular rotze and take off the e. Then to make the feminine singular form, we add a to get rotza. She wants, he rotza. He rotza. She wants. We can also add an im ending to get rotzim and an ot ending to get rotzot. They want in Hebrew is hem rotzim in masculine form and hen rotzot in feminine form. So those are the four forms of a present tense verb from a root ending with he. Rotze, rotza, rotzim, rotzot. And so that's a look at the present tense of modern Hebrew. In biblical Hebrew, this tense works a little bit differently. There, this tense is a gerund, which is a verb ending with ing, and does not necessarily take place in the present. For example, in biblical Hebrew, ochel can mean is eating, happening in the present, but it could also be translated as was eating, happening in the past, or will be eating, happening in the future. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to learn more Hebrew, please consider subscribing to my channel and checking out some of my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.